body kind of movement today. So with that, we're going to try to work every body part. So go ahead and come onto your backs. I am going to work a little bit on our neck. I was just telling Lynn I slept wrong the last couple of nights, so I've got kind of a crick in my neck. So we'll see if we can work on that a little. But for now, close your eyes and just breathe. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Be present in the moment. Get ready to start this new day with our time change. You know, everybody may be a little discombobulated with the time change, but embrace it. And as you continue to inhale and exhale through your nose, think about filling up your entire container, 360 breath, all the way around. Let your rib cage expand into the sides and into the back. See if as you breathe, your breath can push the back of your ribs toward the floor without tucking your pelvis under. So expand all the way. And as we go through our practice today, you can come back to your breath and think about that expansion through your rib cage. That expansion helps to support your spine. That air inside your container is supporting your spine or your backbone to help you move through everything in your daily life. So let's take 5 rounds of breath with that full expansion through your rib cage. And then when you're ready, bend your knees and then take your feet up toward the ceiling. And just take a moment here to bend and straighten your legs. Bring them towards straight. Check in with your hamstrings. See how they're feeling this morning. See how your low back is doing. And then maybe bend one knee, straighten out the other. See if you can take them a little bit straighter. Feel a little something down the back of your thighs. And then let's bring our feet straight. I'm sorry, our legs straight. I'm sleeping here. And take your feet around in a circle at the ankles in one direction. Wake up the ankles a little bit. And then let's turn and go in the other direction. And then play. Maybe you want to take them in opposite directions. And then go ahead and bend your knees and place both feet on the floor. I don't know what happened to my music, excuse me. This is not good. So go ahead and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And maybe linger in one spot, see how that feels. Take your knees to one side. And then to the other. And then let's bring our legs back up through center. Leave your right foot on the floor. Let's take our left leg up toward the ceiling and grab the back of your shin or whatever you can reach with your hands. And we're going to concentrate on moving from the ankle. So you want to keep your leg motionless, and we're going to start to turn our foot at the ankle around in a circle. And be very mindful here. Really, really think about making little creases in every direction. You want to take that ankle around all the way, full range of motion. And let's do that 2 more times in this direction. Really reach, and then switch and go the other way. And if you're holding on to the back of your calf, you could probably feel that muscles moving around. That's a good thing. Couple more. And then go ahead and shake that out. And let's do that on the other side. So take the right foot up toward the ceiling. Grab behind your leg wherever you can reach. And just start to dorsiflex your foot and then take your foot all the way around. Reach as far as you can in all directions. Two more in this direction. And then switch and take your foot in the opposite direction. Waking up our ankles. Couple more. And then let's go ahead and shake that leg out. And now let's roll over onto our left side. Actually, you can roll this way, Lynn, so you can see me, and you just ignore left or right. So go ahead and bend your knees. And you're on your side. You can have your head up, or you can lay your arm down. You can put a block under your head if that feels good for you. We're going to work on our hips. So what I want you to do is start to open your leg, your knee up toward the ceiling. Bring your heel in toward your bum. Take that knee as far up as you can get it without leaning back. If you need a little governor or something to keep you honest, you can take a block and place it behind your sacrum. And then when you get your knee up as high as you can, you're going to rotate and start to take your heel back toward behind you. So we're innerly rotating our hip. Then we're going to push that foot back toward the wall and bring it down and then back to where it started. Then we're going to push back We're going to go backwards from where we just went. We're going to open our knee toward the ceiling. External rotation of the hip. Bring it forward and down. Let's do that 2 more times. So open your knee toward the ceiling. And think about turning from the knee. You're going to externally rotate in the hip socket, then push back and come down and forward. Then push back, foot toward the wall behind you. Open your knee toward the ceiling. As that knee comes up, you're going to rotate back, external rotation, and come down. 1 more. Open up. Turn that screw from your knee. Turn your foot behind you. Push back. Lower down and come forward. And then push back. Open that knee up toward the ceiling. Turn your foot back behind you and come down. Shoo, is your hip woke up yet? Let's give it a little more, shall we? So from here, let's straighten that bottom leg just a little bit. This one's kind of simple. Just lift your knee up. And what I want you to do is point your toe. And then without rocking from the hip, you want to keep your hips stacked. Take that knee and bring it forward. Touch the floor. Then bring it up and touch your toe behind you. And we're just going to go back and forth. I just got a foot cramp. And forth. Just touch your knee forward. Touch your foot behind you. Now let's speed that up. Couple more. Try not to rock back and forth with your hip. We want to concentrate all the effort right in that hip socket. And then go ahead and shake that out. Whew. And let's do that on the other side. So again, you can stay up. You can put your head down, whatever works best for you. Let's open that knee toward the ceiling. Rotate back, then push your foot back toward the wall behind you. Bring that thigh down and bring it forward. And push your foot back. Open your knee toward the ceiling. Rotate your foot back behind you. And then bring your leg down. This side always seems weirder for me. So let's open up. Turn your hip, internally rotate that hip socket. Then push your foot back behind you. Bring your leg down and forward. Then push back. Open that knee up. Rotate. And then bring your leg down. Let's do that one more time. Open up. Rotate your hip in the socket. Push your foot back behind you. Bring it down and forward. Then push back with that foot. Open your knee toward the sky. Rotate. Forward and down. All right. Now go ahead and straighten that bottom leg a little bit. Lift up your knee. Point your toe. And touch down. Your knee forward. Toe behind. And just go back and forth. Try to speed it up a little bit. Get a little heat going in that hip. You're reaching with your toes, trying to keep your hips stacked on top of one another. And you should feel a little something, something on the outside of that hip there. Couple more. And then go ahead and bring yourself back through center and come back onto your back. Bend your knees, Place the soles of your feet on the floor. Then from here, think about what I said about that container in your center. So fill yourself up with air. Don't hold your breath though. And then lift your knees up to a 90-degree angle. Take your hands, push your hands into your thighs and your thighs into your hands. Keep pushing, and we're going to hold this. And release. Whoo, that'll get you going. All right, now let's take our hands back to our thighs. I'm not going to make you do that again. Actually, let's take our hands up toward the ceiling. Legs are at 90 degrees. And we're going to just do a little dead bug action here. Excuse me. So what we're going to do as we inhale or exhale, it's totally up to you. Excuse me. You're going to lower your right hand and your left heel toward the floor and come back up. Then right heel and left hand. Continue doing this, and what I don't want you to do is let your ribs flare up as you're doing this. Try to keep your ribs down and contained. And again, breathing is up to you as long as you're breathing. You can inhale as you come down, exhale as you come down, whatever works best for you. Thinking about keeping air in your container to support your spine. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, add a little spice, as Lauren says, you can take your legs long and touch. Couple more. How about one more each side? Okay, go ahead and place your feet back on the floor. Knees are bent. We're going to set ourselves up for bridge, but we're going to take it a little different to start with. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our back a little massage actually here. So what I want you to do first is let's get in touch with our pelvis, shall we? So just start to rock your pelvis up and down on the floor. So tipping it up and down. You can even exaggerate and arch your back a lot as you come back and forth. Just notice how your pelvis moves independently from your spine. Now let's come back to a neutral spine. So that means you're not pushing your pelvis into the floor. You've got that natural arch in your spine. You can bring your hands up, jazz hands facing one another just for a little stability here. And then I want you to start to tuck your pelvis. So you're bringing the bottom of your pelvis toward the ceiling, and you're pushing the bottom of your spine into the floor. And then we're going to go one vertebra at a time. Think about pushing each vertebra individually into the floor before you lift your pelvis up toward bridge. So you may come in chunks, but that's okay. It's a process. Just think about it. Close your eyes and think about touching each individual vertebra into the floor. And as you lift your hips up, you're engaging your glutes, giving them a good squeeze. And then when we get to the top, make sure that your chin is tucked, nice big double chin. And I want you to come down the same way. So think about pushing each vertebra into the floor as you lower yourself down. And you may get a little engagement in your abdominals as you do this until your pelvis touches the floor. Let's do that 2 more times. So start to tuck your pelvis under and go as slow as you need to for this. If you feel like you missed a vertebra, go back, push that into the floor, squeeze your glutes as you start to come up. Again, remember to tuck your chin under. Give a good squeeze at the top and then come down, rounding your spine and pushing your vertebra toward the floor. Last one. Give a good squeeze when you come to your maximum height, and then send yourself back down, 1 vertebra at a time. Phew. All right, we're gonna do one more little bridge pose here, and then we'll flip over. So let's take our right ankle and cross it over our left knee. Think about actively pushing that right thigh away from you. Your right ankle is flexed, or your foot is flexed and engaged. Push your triceps into the floor. Lengthen your neck, chin towards your chest. Engage that left glute. This time we're going to come up in one piece. Push into that foot, lift up. And lower. Come back up. Squeeze and lower. Let's do that one more time. We're going to hold. Really make that glute work. Mine's not listening to me. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then lower down. And let's switch sides. So right foot comes to the floor, left ankle crosses over, push that left thigh away, dorsiflex that foot, push down, lift up, and lower. Come up, squeeze that glute, and lower. And let's last one, come up and we're gonna hold. And then lower down. Go ahead and uncross your ankles, maybe give your knees a little swish from side to side. And then let's rock ourselves up to a seated position. So let's sit tall here. And we're going to do that little neck thing I said we were going to work on. So take your shoulders up, back and down. And then start to turn your head toward the left. I don't know if I can make it all the way. You want your chin to come in line with your shoulder. And then start to bring your chin down and then forward towards your chest. And then take that chin all the way over to gaze over the right shoulder. And then let's go back and forth. So take your chin down towards your chest and over the left shoulder. And just go back and forth a few times. neck's not cooperating here. Couple more. And then if and when you feel ready, next time you gaze over your shoulder, continue with your chin pointing up toward the ceiling. So you're going to make a full circle here from shoulder to chest to the other shoulder and then back up toward the ceiling. Remember, the next time your chin points up toward the ceiling, reverse direction. And then just take a minute here to move your head and neck in any direction. Ooh. I still have some work to do there. All right, let's come to our hands and knees. Tabletop. And take a moment here for cat-cow. So if you want to do just a cat-cow as you drop your belly, lift your chin and your chest for cow, and then round your spine. Or you can take that spinal segmentation like we did in bridge pose, starting with a neutral spine, start to drop your pelvis toward the floor and slowly articulate one vertebra at a time, your head being the last thing to come up. And then starting at the base of your spine again, you tuck your pelvis under and slowly start to roll one vertebra at a time, like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your vertebra, and your head is the last thing to come down. So you do you, whatever version of cat-cow feels best for you. I'll just offer you some options. Maybe turn your head from side to side. I'm just trying to get mine moving here this morning. Ooh. All right, and then let's come back through center. And what I'd like you to do here is just start to rotate your body forward. So you're coming forward over your wrists and going past your hands. So you're taking your elbows forward. Keep your elbows straight. Try not to put a bend in your elbows. We're warming up our wrists a little bit here. And then go ahead and change directions. Get a little blood flow going in those wrists. We don't give our wrists enough love for all that we ask them to do. So let's do that today, shall we? And then I'm going to start with my left wrist so that you can see me. And what I want you to do is just start to roll onto the outside of your wrist. Bring your hand down and around. So you want to bring all sides of your wrist into contact with the floor. And whatever you need to do with your body to accommodate that, feel free. And then when you're up for it, switch directions. This has a very technical term. It's called the wrist smush. Couple more. And then let's bring that left hand back and do that on the right. So start to roll to the outside. The object here is to bring all sides of your wrist in contact with the floor. So gyrate your body however you need to make that happen. And it's okay to readjust. And then let's go back in the other direction. And then go ahead and sit back and just give them a shake. And then take your hands up toward the ceiling and start to open and close your hand, your fingers. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Now, can you go faster and spread your fingers farther apart? You feeling a little something in your forearms? Good. Good, good, good. All right, shake. And let's come back to tabletop. And we're going to take our right foot up and bring it through between our hands and come up with your knees in like a 90-90 position. So this knee's over your ankle and your hips over your left knee. Let's take our hands out in front of you like you're high-fiving the wall in front of you. Really push your hands back towards your elbows. And then we're going to start to turn your hands outward, taking them down toward the floor. I want you to think about engaging that left glute and pulling that right foot back toward the middle. So your fingers are down. Think about Spider-Man, and you're going to shoot your spider webs from your wrists. Now I want you to start to turn your head or bend your neck so that you're taking your head down to look toward the floor. Can you see your left knee? Engage that left glute, pull that right foot back, and hold. Now think about pushing the back of your spine or your whole spine toward the wall behind you. Push forward with your hands, and back with your spine. Whew, and release. Yeah. All right, let's switch sides. So left foot comes forward, right knee down. Think about engaging that left glute. Hands come out in front. Push the wall in front of you. Now, as you start to turn your hands out, take your gaze down towards your right knee. Push your hands forward like you're going to really aim at something with your spider webs. Pull that left foot back. Engagement through the right glute. You're pulling that right knee forward. And then start to push your spine, the back of your ribs toward the wall behind you. Keep that engagement in your legs. Don't forget to breathe. Woo, relax. Shake it out if you need to. Come back to tabletop. Let's take a little break, shall we? Come back into child's pose for a minute. I'll let you rest. And then let's pull ourselves forward, back to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Bend one knee, straighten out the other. Give your dog a little walk. Wiggle around as you need to. And then let's come back to stillness. Right leg rises, three-legged dog. And then bend that right knee, look between your hands, bring your right foot forward, low runner's lunge. Elongate through your spine. And then we're gonna slowly rise up, crescent lunge. Again, think about pulling your right foot back and your left foot forward. And then we're gonna take that left arm forward, right arm back for a twist. And if you can move your neck, which I can't at this moment, turn and gaze over your right thumb. Let's come back. Crescent lunge. Left hand comes to the floor, right arm reaches for the sky. Right hand comes back to the mat. Right leg rises, three-legged dog. Right foot comes down, downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Bend that knee, pull it through between your hands, low runner's lunge. Slowly rise up, crescent lunge. Again, pulling your feet toward the midline. Right arm forward, left arm back. Left arm comes back up, crescent lunge. Hands come to the floor, right hand stays down, left hand reaches for the sky. Hands come back to the floor, left leg flies, three-legged dog, and back to downward facing dog. Let's come up onto our tiptoes. Tiptoe your feet forward to meet your hands for a forward fold. Let's come up for a half lift. And then come down, reach your arms out and up overhead. Hands meet overhead, down through heart center. Inhale, arms are gonna come out and up. Come back, Utkatasana, chair pose. Push your feet into the mat and try to rip the mat apart with your feet. We're gonna try something here. Just lift your left heel off the floor. You can keep your toes touching down. And lower. Let's do that on the other foot. Lift your right heel off the floor. And lower. And let's forward fold. Step yourself back to a plank pose or onto your knees if that's more comfortable for you. And then pull your hands back towards your feet towards your hands. Bend your elbows and come down slowly. Chaturanga. Stay down on your belly here. Let's warm up our shoulders a little bit. Now I'm gonna keep my head up so you can hear me, but you don't have to. Take your arms out wide into a T. And then make fists and create some tension through your arms, reaching as far as you can in opposite directions. And then start to internally rotate your shoulders. So you think about taking your biceps up toward the ceiling. And then you're gonna turn them completely in the other direction. So this motion is coming from the shoulder blades. Does mine crack? And I'm gonna come up so you can hear me. So you just turn in and out. Go ahead and put your head down. Give your neck a break. Now, can you lift your arms up higher behind you toward the ceiling and keep turning? Can you lift up higher? Squeeze your shoulder blades toward one another. Beautiful. All right, go ahead and let your arms come down. And I want you to take them back behind you. So your arms are gonna come long, palms are facing up. Then lift up your arms from the shoulders. Bend your wrists. Squeeze your shoulder blades toward one another. And then start to bend your elbows as you bring your hands underneath your shoulder blades, but don't touch the floor, or underneath your shoulders. And then we're gonna go back and forth. So reach up as high as you can with your hands, and then bend from the elbows and come back down. And up, reach for the sky, and down. And up, and down. One more time, reach up, and down. Now go ahead and put your hands on the floor, and I want you to think about pushing your hands into the floor as if you're gonna push yourself up, but you're not. So squeeze your shoulder blades together, push your hands into the floor, push, push, push. And then relax. Now, take your elbows up, lift your hands off the mat, lift, lift, lift as hard as you can, up toward the ceiling, and then lower. Now, push the top of your feet into the floor, engage through your legs, lift your knees off the floor, squeeze your glutes, and push yourself up to cobra or up dog. Now that your shoulders are ready for that, and then meet me in downward facing dog. Bend one knee, straighten out the other, walk your dog. Sorry guys, I got a little snotty here. And then let's come up onto our tiptoes. Tiptoe your feet forward to meet your hands. Forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. And then bring your arms out and up overhead as you reach for the sky. Squeeze your glutes, maybe come into a little back bend here. Come back to standing. Utkatasana, chair pose. Now, bring your hands down to heart center. We're gonna do the same thing we did before, but we're gonna try and take it a little farther. Go ahead and lift your left heel up off the floor. Can you take your toes off the floor? If you can't, that's okay. Little balance here. And let's put that one down and take it to the other side. Start with lifting up your heel. Engage that glute, lift your toes off the floor. And lower down. And forward fold. Plant your hands, step it back to a plank or a half plank. Hands towards your feet, feet towards your hands. Bend your elbows, slowly lower down. Up for cobra, up dog. And back to down dog. Take a round of breath here. Now either tiptoe, hop, or step it forward to a forward fold. Come up to a half lift. Come back down to forward fold. Reach your arms out and up. Squeeze your glutes, little back bend. And then come forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And then we're gonna reach down and come all the way back up again. And come down, chair pose. Now, let's see, can we do this again? So lift up onto your toes of your left foot, engage that right glute, lift that foot up. Now can you take it farther and come back, oops, to a warrior three. Some days are better than others. Now, can you bring that foot forward? Don't touch down. Bring that knee up and bring that foot down. Just wiggle it out. Arms come out and up. Back to chair. Now we're going to do that on the other side. So lift up your heel. Go slow. Find something to gaze at. Lift that foot up. And if and when you're ready, bring yourself back to warrior three. Now, can you bring that knee forward and all the way through and lower down? Whew. Arms out and up. Let's forward fold. Plant your hands. Step it back to a plank. Pull your hands towards your feet, feet towards your hands, and slowly lower down. Chaturanga. Come up for cobra or up dog, and then meet me in downward facing dog. Right leg rises, three-legged dog. Pull that foot all the way through between your hands. Then we're gonna pivot on the back foot, come into warrior two. Got all kinds of kinks going on today. Sorry, guys. My head is not turning. My shoulder's doing weird stuff. Be strong. Right palm rises. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Bring that right arm down. Reach up and over. Side angle. Let's come back to warrior two. Pivot on the back foot. Let's come into a crescent lunge. Hands come to the mat. Right leg flies, three-legged dog. And downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Bend that knee, pull that left foot through between your hands. Pivot on the back foot. Warrior two on this side. Left palm turns up. Reverse warrior. Let's come back to warrior two. Left arm comes up, right arm comes up and over, side angle. Back to warrior two. Now let's pivot for a crescent lunge. Hands come to the floor. Left leg flies. Three-legged dog. Back to downward facing dog. Now let's tiptoe our feet forward to meet our hands for a forward fold. Up for a half lift. And bend your knees and reach your arms all the way out and up. Urdhva Hastasana. And hands come down through heart center. Inhale, arms out and up. Let's come into a chair pose. Again, rip the mat apart with your feet. Feel the engagement in your glutes. Now, can you sit up a little bit taller? If you need to bring your hands to heart center, that's fine. Try to elongate your spine. Keep squeezing through the back line of your legs and your glutes. Few rounds of breath here. And forward fold. Plant your hands. Let's step it back to a plank pose, but I want you to stay here. And take your feet out a little bit wider for a little more stability. Now you can come down to your knees if you'd like, but give this a try first. I want you to lift up your left hand and touch your right shoulder and come back down. Right hand to left shoulder and back down. And go back and forth. Try to minimize rocking from side to side. Keep the stability through your center. Couple more. And then bring your hands back to the floor. Catch your breath. You can bring your feet in a little bit. And then what we're going to do here is start to roll to the outside of the left foot and the inside of the right. And then come back through center and go the other way. And then go back and forth. So your shoulders and the upper part of your body are staying steady, and you're only moving below the waist. Couple more. And then come back through plank pose. Are you warm yet? Yeah. I am. All right. So from plank, I want you to lift your right leg, bend that knee, and bring that right foot to the outside of your right hand. And you can put it down. It's rest time. Now, you can lower your back knee to the floor if you'd like. If you've got a couple blocks, you can bring your arms down and come onto your forearms for more of a stretch. Try not to drop your head or sink into your shoulders. You can leave that back knee up or take it down. Little lizard stretch here. And I will grant your wish because I want it too. Oh my goodness. Take a moment. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and come back up onto your hands and take that right leg back to a plank pose. And let's lift our left leg, bend that knee, bring your foot forward to the outside of your left hand. And again, you can keep that knee up or lower it down and then come down onto your forearms. Push back through that right heel. Keep your neck long and keep pushing the ground away. Don't let your shoulders sink in. And when you're ready, extend your arms back up. Take that left leg back to a plank and then come down onto your knees and sit back on your shins. Let's roll our shoulders up, back and down. Bring your hips to one side and bring your feet forward. So bend your knees, keep the soles of your feet on the floor. Take a nice breath in, expand your container, and then see if we can roll. Remember that segmented spine? Can you do that and bring yourself down to the floor? Take your time. Oh. My neck's not allowing today. All right, go ahead and bend your knees and place the soles of your feet on the floor. And let's cross our right ankle over our left knee. Push the thigh away from you, the right thigh. Now, if you'd like, you can take a passive stretch here. Reach your arms on either side of your left leg and pull that left knee forward. And try to keep pushing that right thigh away from you. if you're holding on to your left thigh, gently release it. Let your left foot find the floor again. Go ahead and uncross your ankle and let's switch sides. Left ankle over right knee. Push the left thigh away. And if you'd like, go ahead and pull that right knee towards your face. And when you're ready, go ahead and release that foot. Uncross your ankle. Take a moment here if you'd like to come into happy baby or any other pose. Take a few moments. Prepare yourself for your Shavasana. And when you're ready, settle yourself in. You can lay on the floor. You can stay in a seated position. And if you're feeling a little wiggly today, feel free. Shavasana is for you. If you want to wiggle around, then wiggle around. If you want to be still, be still. Just close your eyes and listen to your breath as you inhale and exhale through your nose. And just take a few moments to appreciate this time you've taken for yourself today. To calm your mind and strengthen your body. Slowly start to bring your awareness back to your breath. And bring some fine movement to your fingers and toes. Maybe take a moment here to stretch your arms and your legs long. Take a deep breath in. And in your own way, whenever you're ready, make your way up into a comfortable seated position. Sit tall. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Let's take our palms out by our side, palms facing up, and let's take one deep breath in together as we reach up, look to the sky. Palms meet overhead. Hands come down through heart center as you slightly bow forward. Life goes on, whether you choose to move on and take a chance in the unknown, or stay behind, locked in the past, thinking of what could have been. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I hope you liked it. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. Emma, and Molly, and Treva, and Shira. Thank you, thank you. Have a great Sunday.